Hey everybody, welcome to Goshen Prepping. Thanks for joining us. I have some pressing news, and stay to the end. I need you to see this. It's something that's going to affect every single one of us drastically, mind you. And by the way, it's not this whole thing about the Russian submarine and the Russian flotilla heading to Cuba. Everybody's so worried about this. That's not a worry. I've talked about this in a previous video. There's Russian subs already off our coast anyway. No, mainstream media wants you to think this is a problem. It makes U.S. admirals sweat. No, it doesn't. And even more so, Russian submarines spotted near the west coast of Scotland. That's in the news too. And Putin is dialing up the pressure on the United States. And Russia's nuclear missile submarine built to strike America. All of that is status quo. All of that is normal. All of that is the typical thing that's been happening for decades between the United States and Russia. Don't believe it. Don't fall into it. That's not the fear. And I'm not saying Russia's the fear, China's the fear, or even the United States is the fear. However, in this specific case, there's something the United States is doing that we need to pay attention to, because it's far worse than simply saying, oh, look, there's a Russian submarine over there. Don't worry about the sub. It's not going to attack us. This will. It's the HR 8070, Service Member Quality of Life Improvement. Oh, that sounds nice, doesn't it? And the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2025. It's a House bill being sent through. And it's amazing how they talk about the submarines. Have you heard about this? It's literally sent through by the House Service Senate Committee about what's going to happen with our military appropriations coming up very soon. And here it is, by the way. And I've had a lot of people talk about this, but I had to pull up the actual act itself to make sure what they're saying is true, and indeed it is. It talks about the things they always talk about, Department of Defense, its budget, etc. But we need to look at some of the major highlights. And bear with me, guys. It's kind of dull, but there's something here that's going to blow your mind. They talk about a full budget request for Pacific Deterrent Initiative and also for European. Joint Force Headquarters because of Japan and Australia. They talk about drones. And a lot of the stuff is pretty much the same. And then the third bullet point is strengthening the joint force and defense workforce. In other words, how are we going to get more manpower in the military? And here it is. I've been saying this, I've been saying it, and I've been saying it. Amends the Military Selective Service Act to require the registration of women for selective service. I've been saying this. And I've been saying this. I put out numerous videos, and a lot of people are like, oh, they'll never do it. Here it is. This is literally being pushed through right now. It's already passed the House, heading for the Senate. And they're kind of sneaking in. And it's actually more than simply just having women in the selective service. This comes on the heels of, guess what? They're making the selective service automated. So young girls, 18, 20, 24-year-old girls, you don't need to actually register for the selective service. Oh, by the way, look at the submarine. Look at how Russia's here. And granted, all of that is hyperbole saying, look, we're heading to World War III. I believe we are heading to World War III. And I don't necessarily think it's an organic thing like, oh, you know what, you did this and I did this and we're going to fight. I believe they're pushing this agenda. That's just me. But nevertheless, as preppers, we need to be ready for this. And when I talk about be ready, understand that they are literally setting into play right now that they're going to make it so women, you don't have to register, but women will automatically be put into the selective service system. So look at this one more time. This is the highlights, by the way. You know what? What can you take from that? All the different things we can look at specifically. Amends the Military Selective Service Act to require the registration of women for selective service. And when it comes to our government, when it comes to politicians, they're easy to understand for the fact that they never pass anything unless they planned on acting on it. I mean, there's times where the federal government want to pass something and say, hey, states, we want you to do that. And the states are like, we're not doing that. That's not what's happening here. They are setting it up so women are going to be part of selective service, and the whole system is automated because of a Russian sub coming to Cuba. No, because of everything escalating into coming to World War III. There has been leaked information. Listen, I'm going to talk about leaked information in a second. I have seen countless emails and comments to me about certain guard units being activated. Guard units are always in training during the summer anyway, but we're not talking about training. We're talking about activation. And we saw that one thing a few days ago that literally a specific guard unit was going to be completely activated and heading off by this fall. It is ramping up. It's stepping up. And we seem to be in a situation, I think it's blatantly clear, but at least we seem to be in a situation where now we need to be ready because the government is heading us into World War III. So we need to be ready for this. As preppers, that's the whole point. Because last time we were in a World War II, America was banded together to try to fix everything and try to make it so freedom prevailed. In this case, it is going to be, in my opinion, hell on earth. And even for those of us, I mean, can't even say us, who knows what age they may switch it to for selective service. Historically, 18 to 25, then they switch it to 35, then they switch it to 45 when they don't have enough people. So, I mean, I am not taking it out that I may actually be called up eventually too. But I've got lots of kids who are over 18, and they may be called up because of this. Because of this war, they seem to be trying to beef up. So when you see all this stuff in mainstream media, you shouldn't fear, but you should also fear. Let me put it this way. Fear, by the way, is always a good thing. You want to have fear. And people are like, you're a fearmonger. Now, I didn't make up the news, my friends. But don't sit there and just turn to a blind eye and say, I'm not going to listen to this law. I'm listening. No, you use that fear to take action. And that means to prepare and have food and water and, honestly, defense stuff at your home to be ready for this. Fear is a good thing. You need to act on fear. That's why we have fear. Now, panic, that's a different story. I don't cause panic. I show the thumbnails. I show the articles. I didn't make this stuff up. And I tell you, don't be panicked. Be level-headed about this. So don't let people tell you you're a fearmonger. Don't go into that garbage because they're just simply trying to hide their head, bury the head in the sand. But you know what? That's not going to help a whole lot when Uncle Sam comes knocking on the door and saying, you know what? You're the ones that's actually been drafted now. We need to be ready for this because it's not me orchestrating or causing all these problems in the world. It seems to be other people are causing it, but either way, we're going to have the effects of it, aren't we? You know, you and me, our kids, our grandkids. So we have to be ready for this. As preppers, we need to prepare our houses because if and when we go to World War III, we're going to see shortages like no other. We're going to see rationing. We're going to see it is not going to be like World War II. There were shortages and rationing in World War II, but this new one is going to be nothing like that. We have to be ready. But we also have to be ready that literally the draft will be starting again too. We're not having enough people right now to basically join the military in peacetime. What's it going to be like in wartime? They will start the draft again. All right, guys, so things to be looking out for as this bill goes through. If for some reason it's shot down, I'm going to tell you if it's shot down. But if it's passed, I will certainly tell you if it's passed, and there's something to be ready for because women are going to be part of this as well. We knew this was coming. I've been saying it for months. This is coming, and here we are. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.